Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a new episode of Eve Echoes. Now, for today's episode, we are going to take a look at something quite useful in your day-to-day space life, and I will be talking about how to make yourself a dependable Capsuleer. Now, of course, we all know that you can play Eve Echoes just like Eve Online, just sit around in space doing nothing, strolling around, spinning your ship in space or in station or whatever you want to do. Now, the thing is, Eve Echoes is a tad different than Eve Online, meaning piracy is banned in high-sec. You cannot steal, you cannot do any shenanigans like station games and suicide stuff and just grab all the loot and go away using ults, which means you have to move your stuff and your area of operations into low-sec or null-sec. Now, if you're not being able to fully depend on your ship and your skills, you're pretty much dead in the water. Now, if you want to do something a bit more and go bigger and larger, you might want to join a corporation or a corporation that is a part of an alliance. But that comes in turn with its own side effects. Meaning, when you're in a group, you can have mining skills, yeah, that's acceptable, but you cannot mine if you cannot defend the space you're in. The same principle applies for any other activity that you might want to have in null-sec or low-sec in the area that your corporation or alliance operates. Now, even if you're going solo, you still need to be dependable on yourself. You need to be able to depend on your skills and on your ship and on your fitting. And if you're in a corporation or in a general manner, say, group of people, you need to be dependable as in others to depend on you, because that's what a group means and that's what a community means. And here at Opposing Force, we try to, let's say, push that ideology because we all need to stick together. So how you make yourself dependable? Well, Eve Online basically has these, actually this 14 magical skill set that you need to learn in order to be dependable, in order for your character to be dependable. So let's start with a very short, long list of the skills that were needed, including, so we've got computer management, power grid management, cap management, mechanics, hull upgrades, shield management, shield operation, long-range targeting, signature analysis, navigation, evasive maneuvering, and spaceship command. Now, Eve Echoes is a tad different, as I mentioned, meaning most of these stuff are not existing. They're not there at all, and some of them have actually been split into multiple branches that you need to spread your skill points throughout them. So let's head over to skills, and I'll show you exactly what I mean. Now, another thing that I wanted to touch on was this area where your guides, your skill guides existed. In the past, in the open beta, there were 5. I think there were 6. Now there's just 3. We've got the military, the industry, and the business. I'm not sure why they went down. I recommend having more. So, if NetEase is watching and the devs are watching, these should be a lot more. So 3 is not enough because there are so many professions, and I touched on this when I did the guide on the profession and what you can do in EVE Online, or in EVE Echoes, sorry. Having just 3 is, you could consider them core, but each one has its own ramification. As in military, you might want to be a logistics pilot, or you might want to be a scout, or whatever. In the industry, you might want to be a builder, or you can be a miner, which has no building skills, or you only want to be a builder only, and you don't need any mining skills at all. You just want to build stuff, and you can acquire your ore and your minerals from somewhere else, or have someone mine them for you if you're in a corporation, exactly as I mentioned. Now, if you're part of a larger group, of course you can have mining, of course you can have industry, of course you can have whatever skills you want to use in order to, I don't know, gain fame and glory and ISK. But the thing is, you want to be able to defend yourself, you want to be able to fly a capable ship, and if you're in a group, you really want to do that, because you only gain that boost, that increase in ISK inside low sec or null sec, well, the most profitable areas of space, by being able to defend them. If you're not being able to defend them, then people will just come along and steal your stuff. Not entirely like steal your stuff in space, like steal the space from under your feet, and you'll basically just get evicted if you're not being able to keep that region of space. And to keep that region of space, you need to be dependable in order to form fleets, in order to fight against aggressors, not by yourself, but in groups, to form fleets, to wage wars on the enemy, so on and so forth. So let's get on to the not magical 14 anymore, because as I mentioned, the skills have been redistributed or revamped in a way that Eve Echoes did it with the ships, and I don't know, maybe it's a style. It's completely specific to Eve Echoes, so it's not related to Eve Online. You cannot train the same skills. So we'll go over into the CPU management, power grid management, and cap management. Now those three skills have been removed. They're no longer there. They're vanished. They have been transformed into class engineering. So let's go into electronics, and here we will see the engineering tab. Now, as you can see, there's no CPU, there's no power grid, there's no cap management. Each of those skills are now distributed across the class engineerings, and I say class because they represent the class of the ship. We've got the frigate, the destroyer, the cruiser, the battlecruiser, battleship, blah 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 blah. Just clicking on one, you'll see that the basic engineering for a class will give you like capacitor capacity. If we go to advanced, we'll probably see capacitor capacity, power grid, warp capacitor, and of course, in some cases, for the expert, you also see like some reductions in stuff, the warp capacitor need. Now, these attributes are actually different. If we go over to Destroyer, in the Destroyer engineering, you'll see the Destroyer capacitor capacity, power grid, and warp capacity is present from the very beginning into the basic, and the advanced just gives more boost. I don't know exactly why that's the difference, but for some reason, basic frigate engineering is a lot. Is lacking some attributes as compared to the basic destroyer engineering. And of course we can go over to the cruiser, and you'll see also the same as the destroyer. I think only the frigate is different than all the other ones. I don't know. One more thing that you'd want to understand is the CPU has been removed altogether, because there's no CPU requirement in Eve Echoes. Ships don't have CPU, they only have power grid. And that means one trait has been eliminated completely. So moving on from the engineering, which was controlling the power grid and the capacitor, we're going over to the mechanics. So we have mechanics, hull upgrades, and shield upgrades. These three skills in EVE Online used to, they're still being used to help you with armor hit points, shield hit points, and if I'm not mistaken, hull hit points, so structure. Now, let's head over back to skills and go into, where is this thing? Class defense upgrades. Well, we're gonna do the maintenance technology. So now we're gonna go into defense upgrade, because mechanics is no longer doing what it was supposed to do. It's actually being completely removed. Hull upgrades and shield upgrades are also gone. Mechanics in EVE Online used to give you armor hit points, hull upgrades, structural integrity, a bonus, and shield upgrades, more shield HP. Well, now we only have these. They have been changed as well as the engineering and the class defense upgrade. We've got the frigate defense upgrade, gives you shield and armor. We've got the and the advanced. You'll also get the structure there. Again, different for the frigates and for the frigate class in comparison to all the others, because if we go over to the destroyer and down below, you'll see that the basic defense upgrade for the destroyer class and for the others will give shield, armor, and structure bonus. Going into advanced and expert, you'll see the bonuses increase, shield, armor, and structure, and so is for the expert. The expert giving you the least. Now, actually, not giving you the least. The basic tends to give you static increase, like 250 points. That's that, take it or leave it, at level 5, of course. For the advance, you start to gain percentage, and with the expert, you get the least amount of percentage. The best percentage that you can find is in the advanced skill for that class. Again, same here for the cruiser, 12.5 compared to 25, and of course the static for the basic one, which is 500 in the cruiser case. Moving on to the shield management and shield operation that are in EVE Online. These basically give you the bonus with boosting shield, capacitor need for shield boosting, stuff like that, like reduction in time, capacitor usage. These have been remodeled as well. We may call them remodeled from now on. So we've got the shield operation, which is still the same as in EVE Online in some sorts, and we've got the activation time reduction and the capacitor need for shield boosters. Now, if we go over to advance, you'll also see a power grid need reduction, meaning you are able to fit stuff without with leaving some more room for, you know, maybe fitting something else that may consume more power grid. Power grid is only for fitting. Power grid is not something that the module eats up when it's activated. That's the capacitor. If you for some reason did not know the difference. So we've touched on the shield operation, and another thing that that shield operation category in EVE Echoes has is the shield hardening. Shield hardening offers a bonus to resistances in shield hardening, but only to some specific cases of items. As you can see, we've got the reactive shield hardeners, and we've got the adaptive invulnerability fields, meaning that this skill is completely useless to modules such as kinetic hardeners or resistance specific. As you can see, only applies to these. And of course you can see that just from the very basic version of this skill, you've got the reactive shield hardener activation time, and also the activation time for the adaptive invulnerability field, plus the capacitor need for both of them, a reduction of 15%. So it's something to note and be aware that it's not for passive resistance. The modules have also been revamped. We'll probably touch on that in the near future. Moving onwards, the next items on the EVE Online skill Magical 14 skill set is long range targeting and signature analysis. Long range targeting, completely removed. I think, if I'm not mistaken, in EVE Echoes, you can put a target on someone's back from a gazillion miles away. You just don't ever need the long-range targeting. Not to mention the signature analysis. I think the signature analysis is an attribute contained in one of the skills. So let's take a look at how targeting works. So we go head over to electronics, and we go to targeting. So here we can see it's target management. That's that. As I mentioned, the signature analysis has been integrated into the target management skill, and the long-range targeting is completely gone. You can basically target something as far as your ship sensors allow you to. If we go over to our ship, we will see that in targeting. Max lock targets 8 units. Targeting range 1,000 kilometers. I have no idea how big the grid is in Eve Echoes, but if you guys remember, in the Eve Online you had the grid effect. If you got off the grid, you'd basically disappear. Now, I think here the grid is even more elongated. I don't know. We'll have to find out with tests and with various other methods. But again, long-range targeting is completely gone, and going over to the targeting, we can see that target management gives you max lock targets, scan resolution, which is the signature analysis bonus, giving you the bonus in targeting smaller stuff faster, because the smaller they are, the harder it is for you to target them using a bigger ship. And targeting range. Now, targeting range is a bit obsolete and quite redundant. 1,000 kilometers. Okay, it makes me laugh sometimes. Moving on, we head over to the last 3 skills on the Magical 14. We've got navigation, evasive maneuvering, and spaceship command. Navigation, completely gone. We'll head over quickly. We've got the Cruising Technology tab, which contains 2 categories, Spaceship Command and Navigation. Navigation has been transformed into a category and is no longer a skill. Some of the bonuses from Navigation have been transformed and transitioned, among other things, inside the Class Command. We've got the Spaceship Command category, which contains all the class, the ship class command skills. So we have the frigate command, which gives you inertia modifier and velocity. If we go over to the advanced, there's this is the same attributes. Destroyer command, the same as frigates. Here there's no difference between them. Destroyer inertia modifier and destroyer velocity. So learning destroyer command is very important. Destroyer, the class command. Given the fact that they have been split so harshly into specific classes for each ship class, you might want to, let's say, grab a piece of paper and a pencil and try to carve your path around what is exactly I want to do. Do I want to fly frigates for the rest of my life? Do I want to move on to the destroyers? Do I want to hop onto cruisers sometime soon? Or do I even want to go into battlegroups and battleships? We all know that the ship we're in is dependable as long as we have the skills for it. Given the fact that they have been spread around so thinly across class skills, the same as in engineering, in class defense upgrades, and now in class commands, picking a ship type, a class that you might want to focus for the near future is actually good and beneficial, because you'll be able to learn all the stuff and make your ship dependable. But you might be a tad behind in progression with the other more advanced ship class types. Okay, so that was the Spaceship Command. Now, evasive maneuvering, gone. There's no such thing in Eve Echoes. We have the afterburners, which I believe is in the navigation panel, and in the navigation panel has the afterburner skills and the micro warp drive skills, and the engine operation. Now these have been split as well and remodeled. So we've got the afterburner that gives you bonus to capacity and activation time, and we've got the micro warp drive, which just gives you a bonus to how much capacitor a micro warp drive eats. But the advance also gives you activation time bonus and boost in speed bonus. But that's the warp drive. Something is wrong here. Okay. They messed up the text because it's warp drive capacitor needs, but micro warp drive is not a warp drive. The warp drive is something separate that you initiate warp with. The micro warp drive is an item that you activate and gain 500%, usually around 500% velocity adjustment. So that's pretty much it. Just to do a recap, you've got the class engineering, we've got the defense upgrades, again class specific, we've got the shield operation and the shield hardening. Targeting you can pretty much ignore. If you want like signature analysis, the boost that helps you target stuff faster, you can go into it, but if you're a miner, you're not that interested. In fleets it might be useful if you are logistics, if you are an interceptor, if you are a jammer like electronic warfare. It's crucial that you manage to get a lock on something as fast as possible. But in the other general cases in which you are the front of the line soldier, DPS, usually the fleet commander will say target X, will soon fire at him, so it's okay to target him and everyone will target him, and in time everyone will shoot them. It's not actually that bad if your targeting is like 1 second or 2 seconds behind the entire fleet. What you do need is you know, the alignments, and that falls into the class spaceship command skills, which give you the inertia modifiers and velocity and all that. So class engineering, class defense upgrade, shield operation, shield hardening, of course stands the same for the armor set of skills if you're into armor, tanking, and class spaceship commands. That's pretty much it. These are they sound a tad less than EVE Online, but actually more, because they are split into ship type classes. So you might want to again focus on something and make that your goal, your itinerary, and try to progress on that path as much as possible, because it will help you, help your mates, and everyone will have fun in the end, right? That's pretty much it. We're just gonna have go in space and spin our ship, because we are Care Bears for now. Cheers.